Good morning. Could you hear the bowl? Joanne, could you hear the bowl? Could you hear this? Yes or no? No. Okay. So I put on the original sound, which supposedly was going to give me a bowl, and it didn't. So I'm going to take it off because it gives me off in static. So again, namaste, everyone. Welcome to class. So we're going to start off our morning after our invocation with a little pranayama practice, just a little bit of pranayama practice, and then a meditation. And when we think about pranayama, the reason that we're doing it is to calm our mind down for meditation, to leave that space that we can really just move into the ether, right? And keep ourselves calm and tranquil. So we want to make sure that we're not doing a pranayama that aggravates us and leaves us feeling rajasic or very too much movement in our body and in our mind more than even our body. So we'll do our invocation, and then we're going to begin with Ujjayi Pranayama, but the gross method, and I'll explain it when we get there. Okay. So bringing the hands into the heart, Anjali Mudra. You can let your eyes close, or you can just take your gaze to the floor. With gratitude, we salute all the great yoga masters, past and present. With joy, we recognize the excellent wisdom teachings of yoga, Ayurveda. And with vigor, we dedicate ourselves to self-transforming practice. And every day, every time, what do you need today for self-transformation? Bring yourself into that spot. And then holding that thought in mind, let it drop down into your heart, and we'll bring it back at the end of class. Join me if you can where you are for one resounding Om. Exhaling the breath out and inhale to chant. Om. And then just releasing your hands to your legs for a moment. So we're going to do Ujjayi, the gross method. And Ujjayi means victorious. So we're looking for this victorious breath. So often Ujjayi, that will happen sometimes in some of the yoga classes, asana classes, is like a Darth Vader breath. And that is definitely one way to do Ujjayi. We have a couple of ways that we do it at Mount Madonna. So this is one way that's really to break up emotions and really work with Udana Vayu, the thought of getting something up and out, whether it be thoughts or emotions, or up and out, removing them from the body. So we're going to constrict the throat as if you were coughing. So just clear your throat. And that's where you're making the noise. Right there. Okay. So just to know that, and you can even keep your fingers gently touching your throat area, but don't push into your throat, whatever you do, just gently touching. Good. So we're going to exhale the breath out, and we're going to inhale it in by drawing it in through a restriction there. And I'll let you listen and hear. And we're going to do 5 sobs, and then we're going to exhale the breath out the nose. Okay. So this is a demonstration. And then the breath comes out slowly, smoothly, gently, softly. I'll do one more. And exhaling it out gently, softly, smoothly. So when I have a room full of people, we usually just die laughing at that point, because there's all of these sounds of like kittens all over the room, you know, gasping for air. But I want you to try it because it's very stimulating to that area. It's a chest breath. It's not a full yogic breath. So you can pull your belly in and then bring in the sips as you sob through that space in your throat. At the end of class today, you can tell me if it worked for you, if it didn't, or what you would. We can go a little bit more into the instructions. But for now, I just want us to vibrate that area. and then exhale the breath out. Okay, so we'll do 3 rounds to start, so not too many. So exhaling the breath all the way out, sobbing inhale. Mm, 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 mm. Exhaling the breath out. Mm, 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 mm. See if you can keep the rest of your body soft and gentle, not bringing tension into the legs or the arms. Mm, 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 mm. And this time, just sit with it for a moment. Notice it. Notice your body, your mind. Okay, we're going to do 2 more rounds, and then we're going to move into a cooling breath because this breath can be very heating. Okay, so exhaling out one more time. Mm, 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 mm. Mm, 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 mm. And just fall into your natural breath pattern. Notice the body, the breath, the mind. Notice if you feel a little warmer in your body. This next practice is called Sitkari. It means hissing breath. So it's a cooling breath. It's an abdominal breath. So we let the diaphragm go down as we do it. And you can put your hands on your belly so you be sure you bring the breath into there rather than in the chest region. Okay. So with this breath, we're going to, when we inhale, we're going to put the tongue to the roof of the mouth where it meets the teeth. We're going to put a big smile on our face, and we're going to pull that air through an partially open mouth, and then we're going to exhale out the nose. So I'll show you one. And then exhaling gently, smoothly out the nose. Okay, join me. Smooth, slow, gentle exhale. The bigger the smile, the more coolness you'll feel in your mouth region. 2 more. And then just sitting for a moment and feeling the effects of that practice. Sitkari, hissing breath. Resting your hands for a moment in your lap with your dominant hand on top and your thumbs gently touching. And just noticing your breath, the quality of your breath. Relax your belly. Let the breath go where it may. No tight muscles in the chest or the abdomen. The breath is soft, gentle, and uncontrolled. And our meditation this morning is on the breath itself, not controlling it, just naming what's happening in your body. I'm exhaling, I am inhaling. Whenever it happens, just saying to yourself what you are doing in your body, in your mind. I am inhaling, I am exhaling. Keep the body soft and gentle. Spine is erect. Breath is soft and uncontrolled. I am inhaling. I am exhaling. I am inhaling. I am exhaling. I'm inhaling. I'm exhaling. Oh. Bringing your meditation to a close. Letting your senses come back online slowly, letting your eyes open, wiggling your nose and your ears and wriggling your mouth. Swimming your fingers and twinkling your toes for a minute, just coming back into the body, fully into the body. Okay, I'm going to go back to the mat. We're going to start some asana. So I'm going to tell you where we're going first, and we're going to come up to a standing pose eventually. And I just want to show you what's going to be, what we're going to do on the floor and how that prepares us for what we're going to do when we're not on the floor, when we're standing. Okay, so we're going to head into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. And I just want to show you that it has external rotation on the standing leg. It has a Tadasana spine on the upward body. It has extended arms, as in warriors or the triangles. And my back foot is flexed and very active, and I have this Tadasana. And this is my externally rotated leg. There's no rotation here. It's just a nice Tadasana line. with the arms extended. And using the wall is fabulous because you feel all that support. So I'm going to encourage us to use the wall later. So let's come down, come right into our table pose. We're going to prepare our body for those those movements that are there. Okay, so let's start with some barrel rolls. Don't go out past your hips. Remember, you're contained in a barrel. So not rolling the hips out really far. And then do the other direction. Good. And then take some cat poses, exhaling and inhaling along with the breath. Make sure your hands are in front of your shoulders and that your wrists are right underneath them, giving yourself lots of support. Good. And then I want us a moment to look back over your left shoulder, back towards your left hip. And then just lift the left hip out a little bit. That's just abduction. Okay, just lift it out a little bit. And then open the leg out as big as wide as you can. Good. And then bring it back behind you. And then turn the leg down. Good. Okay, we're going to do the same thing with the right leg. Good. So just lift it out, lift it up, extend it out. And then we're going to bring it back, flex the foot toward the floor, and release it. Good. And then let's take another cat pose. Just waking up the spine. Good. Come back into neutral. And this time, let's make some circles with our left leg. And other direction. Good. And then to the side. Just open and close. And then release it. And then the right leg, some circles. And the other direction. And then open, close. Good, and then release it. Great, and let's take another cat pose. Arch the spine, press the floor away and stay there for a few breaths. Press the tops of the feet into the floor. Tuck the chin into the chest, pull your belly in. Press into the fingers, nice big fingers, as if you had a suction cup in the middle of your palm. And then slowly come into neutral. Curl the toes under, head in the other direction. Start the tailbone toward the back of the head toward the tailbone. Keep the neck long. Breathe. Press the floor away, big hands. Good, and then bring yourself back into neutral. And then just come back onto your heels for a second and make some hands circles, circling your hands and wrist. Good. And dig your fingers into some big brown bear fur. Just dig them in. Because we're going to go back into table. So keeping our wrists nice and healthy. Great. Okay, back into table. Good. And this time taking the left leg back, just back for a moment. And then look back at your right knee. Just look at your right knee. Don't do anything else for a moment. And listen. Look at your right knee. Pivot your right foot out. So you're pivoting on your right knee. The right foot goes out. And then you come over into a modified side angle with this. It's sort of like what we were doing. We will take this action of our arms, especially in our trunk, especially into it. But our bottom leg now is not really externally rotated. Not very much. Okay, and then come back and then release both legs back to neutral. And then step back with your right foot. Look back at your left knee. Just look at the knee. And then on the knee, pivot out the shin and the foot. Roll onto the inside of the right. Just pressing up initially. Press up with the hand. And then you can lift the leg a little, just get that long line of energy. You can have a block under your hand too, if you'd like. And then let's release the foot, unpivot and bring the foot back, and then knee back and back into table pose. Good. And now Surya Churya, back with the left leg and forward with the right arm. Press the top of the right leg into the floor, like the shin, the knee, the foot, press it fully into the floor. And make sure your left foot is flexed. You can be in dorsal flexion. You can add plantar flexion if you'd like little Barbie shoes, but a flexed foot. Then release the arm and release the leg. And then let's step back with the right foot. We want to make sure the right foot is facing the floor. Left arm extends and then lift the right leg, pull in your belly. Belly is super important here. The core staying strong. Long line of energy. Good. And make sure that flexion back there. And if you look back behind you, you'll see, oh, all my toes are headed toward the floor. There is no rotation there yet. Good. And then release the hand and release the knee. Great. So nice and firm. Pull in your belly. Pull in your pelvic floor. So make sure you're very active there. One more time. Back with the left leg. And then I want you to look back at your toes on your left leg. And I do want you to externally rotate the left leg, foot and knee and everything, just to see where it goes. And then bring it back into neutral so that you're really clear when you have and when you don't have external rotation. And then release the knee. And now right leg back, toes are toward the floor. And then externally rotate, take the toes out to the side. Just see, make sure your knees and toes in the same direction. And then bring it back and release it. Good. And then let's come up to our knees for just a moment. Let's do a little external rotation here. So just externally rotating the left leg. And let's try that arm extension. Good. When we're doing Ardha Chandrasana, facing the fingertips are facing the front. So just try that on for size. Good. And then flip the palms and bring the arms up overhead for just a moment. Reach up out of your hips and bring the hands through the heart and just relax the arms for a moment. And just notice that rotation on the left leg. And then let's release it. And let's take it to the right leg, external rotation. If you look down, you can't see your heel. You can only see maybe your big toe knuckle, but nothing else. Sweep the arms out to the side. Let's flip the palms. Palms facing me. Good. Pull in the belly, pull in the pelvic floor. Good. Then take the arms up overhead. Bring them down through the heart and then just release the arms, just still noticing the external rotation at the leg. And then release one more time. Good. And then let's come up slowly all the way up. Come up on tippy toes for just a moment because balance is also a big part of our Ardha Chandrasana pose. So we're up on the ball of the foot. Good. And then you can come down onto your whole foot after you've walked on the ball for a little bit. Good. And then just find yourself standing in Tadasana with your feet hip width apart. So your hips means that your as-is bones, these anterior, superior, iliac spine, are right over your third toe, more or less. So they're not way on out there. They're really following your pelvic basket. So I have like maybe one fist between my big toe knuckles. So anywhere between 1 to 2, depending on how big and broad you are. Good. So just finding that space. We're going to externally rotate the opposite leg because in Ardha Chandrasana, it's our standing leg that is externally rotated. We're still preparing for that and balance. So just peeling up the left heel. Keep the left toes on the floor for a moment and begin to externally rotate. Left toes are on the floor. Don't sink into your right hip. Pull that right hip in. Keep it nice and integrated into the body. Good. And then the arms can float up all the way up. And as if you had a bar to hang on to at the top, lift up, let your shoulders come up and swallow your ears, and then bring your shoulders down. Let your palms touch. Good. And then if you would like a little bit more, just take the sole of the foot to the ankle. Find a drishti, a gazing spot. That wouldn't be me because I move and talk and do all kinds of things. And then bring the hands to the heart and then release the leg and place it back on the floor. Good. And then just release your arms, let them be soft. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So peeling up just the right heel, just the heel. Everything else stays integrated. No movement in the torso, no movement at all. You're going to externally rotate just the leg. Keep the toe on the ground. I pulled mine off and I shouldn't have. Toe on the ground. Good. Keep the left hip in and then take the arms out to the side. Flip the palms up. Lift up, swallow your neck for a moment, then bring the shoulders down, palms to touch. Good. And then if you'd like a little bit more, you're welcome to take the sole of the foot toward the ankle or just keep the toes on the floor. Breathe. Good. And then release the hands to the heart and then release the leg and replace it. Good. All right. So now let's go out big. Okay. Now I have a chair over there that I can use. I have a wall over there that I can use. The space can really be supportive, but I also have a block here that I could take with me to use. Okay. So we're gonna do something to either side first, just to warm up our body. And then we're gonna, the second time we come back to this, we're gonna add in our Ardha Chandrasana. So if you'd like a chair or anything close as a prop, good. So wiggle your hips a little so we're sure we know where our rotation starts from. So we kept our heel, we pulled up the heel and kept the toe on the ground. So we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna pull up the heel, keep the toe on the ground and externally rotate, straighten the leg and lean. So that's the Tadasana we're looking for in Ardha Chandrasana. This is the external rotation we're looking for in Ardha Chandrasana. If somebody could just pick me up and plop me sideways, I would be in Ardha Chandrasana, okay? So if someone could pick me up like that, but you can envision it. Here's my Tadasana line. Here's my externally rotated leg. So just mirror whatever I'm doing. Good. Breathe. Pull in your belly. Pelvic floor is engaged. Core is super important here. Notice my head isn't dropping. It's an extension of my spine. Good. And then I'm going to exhale up all the way back to neutral and then release the arms. Bend to warrior two. So stacking the knee over. Good. Just bending to warrior two, keeping that rotation for a moment. And then leaning again. This is our side angle, a modified side angle. Don't just leave your left arm neutral. Still looking for that Tadasana, crown of the head down through the right heel. You can raise up the arm. Good. And then come back into neutral and release. Good. Straighten the leg and let's unrotate. And then let's lift the heel on this side and rotate, straighten the leg. And then lean over just to get that Tadasana, right? Maybe kick your left heel out a little. Kicking it out like a centimeter made mine so much more balanced. Good. Pressing from my left heel into the crown of my head. And then the arms can open and you can see that Ardha Chandrasana, externally rotated right leg, and Tadasana on the left side of the body. Breathe. It's a lot easier right here with both feet on the floor than when we lift the other leg. Good. And then let's come up. Good. Just release the arms, let them be soft, and bend the knee. So back into that external rotation with the knee bent. Good. And then lean, find your Tadasana. Make sure your neck is an extension of your spine, just finding your Tadasana in this modified side angle. And then the arms can reach up, just preparing the arms for that reaching, reaching, reaching. Good. And on our next exhale, let's come up. Good, straighten the leg, release the arms, and then let's come back to neutral. And then let's heel toe. Give our adductors a little break and find Tadasana. So take a brief standing Shavasana. Relax your pelvic floor and your belly. And then with your eyes closed, imagine yourself opening your legs and moving out. Legs moving out. Imagine yourself not doing it, just imagining yourself externally rotating the left leg. And then imagining yourself taking that little hop up into a big Ardha Chandrasana. Just imagining it. And then resettle into Warrior Two. Just in your imagination. And then come out of the Warrior Two. Legs back in front, and then externally rotating the right leg. And then take a little half hop with the back leg. And imagine yourself just flying gently, easily into that Ardha Chandrasana on the right side. Extension, flexion in the foot. And then settle yourself back down into Warrior Two. And then come out of it and come back into your neutral spot. And then walk your legs together little by little until you're back in your Tadasana. And then flutter your eyes open, and we're gonna work toward that. We may add or subtract a little, but make sure you've got your block over on your left side. That's where we're gonna start. Good. So I'm gonna externally rotate the left leg. Good. And then reach my arms up for a moment and get really broad. Great. And then the back arm, I'm going to just relax. And I'm going to reach, 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 reach with my left arm for just a moment. Good. And then I'm going to release the left arm wherever it is. I'm going to look down at my leg. And then I'm going to take a little half hop. I can take the block or onto the chair until I'm balancing on my standing left leg. Initially, my right toes might be a bit toward the floor, but I'm slowly going to open my toes out toward me or toward you, along with my sternum, because I need my Tadasana spine. So my toes, my knees, my hips, my sternum, my face, everything is looking toward you. And my back foot is flexed, and then the arms can reach up or not. You can keep the arm just right alongside the body. And then if you have the arm up, just take it alongside the body for a moment. Take your gaze slowly to the floor. Just looking at the floor. Bend the knee and step back into Warrior Two. And take your time to fully establish your warrior two. And then release the arms, straighten the leg, and unrotate. Good. We're going to do the same thing to the other side. Ready? Externally rotate the right leg. Good. And then lean over and reach, 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 reach. Good. And let this upper arm just lay alongside your body till you have found that Tadasana line. Then look down at the floor. And then a little half hop. And then lift the back leg. And initially your foot may be a little toward the floor, as is your sternum. And then slowly begin to open the foot toward me. Open the sternum toward me. Take your gaze. You can always stay looking at the floor, but I find that often the gaze will be helpful in keeping me stable. Really flex the left foot. Right leg is gentle, not locked. Breathe. Lots of action in that upper leg. And then slowly take your gaze to the floor. Begin to bend the right knee as you reach back and form a warrior two. Good. And then release the arms, straighten the leg, and come out of it. Good. Heel toe, and then come together. Great. So I hope most of you have a wall that's somewhere close to you. It can be where I can't even see you for a minute if you want. Some of you I can't see you anyway, but some of you I can. So I would like for you to find any kind of wall or a window or anything that you can put yourself against, because I want you to feel the lightness of this pose. So you're just going to put your left hip against the wall for a moment. And then you're rotating your body and everything else away from it. And now shoulders, back of the head, heel, everything can go on the wall. So you're just plastered on the wall over your externally rotated left leg. Good. And then exhale out of it. Okay. And then let's go to the other side. Just put your right hip along the wall. Get the hip on the wall. The foot's off the wall a little bit. It's not right on the wall. Mine's off probably about 6 inches, maybe 5. Good. And this microphone doesn't help. Okay. And so then just balancing yourself. So then now your left hip can come up to the wall, your left foot flexed, heel on the wall, arms on the wall, everything on the wall. And just feel the full support of the wall behind you. Good. And then let's exhale and come out. Excellent. Find your standing Tadasana for just a moment. Let your eyes close. Let your pelvic floor relax. It had to be very active. Belly relax. Shoulders relax. Good. And then letting your eyes flutter open gently. I really want to do one more with you now in the floor, having had that full wall experience. Okay, we're just going to do one more. I'm going to start on the right side. Lean. Good. So I'm going to take my little hop slow motion. So you might want to watch. Here's my little hop. So just finding your space on that side. Good, beautiful. And then when you're ready, I think it's always easiest with the bent knee to establish warrior two. And then Come out of it. I'm just going to go briefly over to the left side. Good. And then look down. And then that little half hop. And then as you're ready, just imagine everything on the wall. And then as you're ready, warrior two. And then release, unrotate, heel toe, heel toe. And let's come down through our toe balance. So just right on, our legs are right in front, knees are right in front. We're just balancing on the ball of the foot, really a ball of the foot balance. Spine is erect. Good. And then let's drop our knees to the floor and grab your block. And I want you to put the block between your ankles, between your toes, and sit on it. We're sitting in Virasana. So there's a little bit of internal rotation. My feet are out to the side gently. You can have, you remember you have several sides to the block. So sit on the one that gets you tall enough that this is not uncomfortable. You can even sit in a chair and put your feet underneath the chair and wrap it around the legs. I want internal rotation. Good. Just breathe for a moment. Let's do something with our arms so we don't think about it. And go ahead and bend your left elbow and push your left tricep up. Good. Just breathe. Keep your rib cage tucked in. Good. And then relax and release. Wiggle your shoulders. And then right arm up, bend, and then just a few presses into your right tricep. Good. Just breathe and then let it go. And then both arms up. Bring the hands out in front of you, flip the palms up, and just do touches, gentle touches to your shoulders. Three more. Good. And then just relax and feel your shoulders super relaxed. Good. And now we're going to take the block out from under, but you're up and you still have your legs out to the side for a moment. Okay. Now put your block there and bring your left foot out behind your block for a moment. Left foot out behind the block. Just open up. So you're feeling that opening. Breathe. So I just have my left hand on the block and I'm pushing in. This leg is externally rotated. The other one is internally rotated. Good. And then I'm going to use my block, walk myself back, put myself in the same spot where their legs are together, feet are apart. And then I'm going to go to this side. Good. Just going to put my block down and then bring my right leg in so that it's in external rotation. Good. So just a kneeling version of where we were in space. Good. And then relax and then bring that leg back. Good. So the toes and the feet are apart. Knees are together. We're not doing anything else. We're just being there. Lift the pelvic floor. Good. And then bring the feet back toward one another. So now we're going to sit for just a moment in Vajrasana, thunderbolt pose. You can take your block, put it right in front of your ankles and have a little seat on it. This would be terribly uncomfortable if it were a wooden block. I wouldn't do it in a million years. I was thinking of the wooden blocks I have from my many years ago practice. That's what we used to have, were wooden blocks. Good. And then come up, move the block out of the way. I'm crossing my legs back behind me, crossing my ankles, and then shifting myself back and forth into Dandasana, into staff pose. Sitting with my body at a right angle. Arms are just relaxed, hands are touching the floor. Big toe knuckles can touch, heels should not because there's no rotation. Knees are toward the ceiling, as are your second and third toes. Good. And then let's bring the soles of the feet together into Vajrasana. Good. And make a relatively big diamond, pretty big diamond. Make sure you're on your sit bones. So I have to move some of the flesh out of the way, take it back, sitting up on the sit bones. And then look at the arches of your feet. And I want you to create a connection there from Shira, Padasana. I want you to go from Shira, the crown of the head, to the soles of the feet. And you're just going to do that by tucking in and letting your thoracic spine round. So just pulling in your belly button, letting the chest concave for a moment. Crown of the head toward the arches. They don't need to touch. It's just creating a circuit of energy. Wherever you are is perfect. Just breathe. And then regardless of where you are, stay there. Walk your hands right in front of your groin. Put your hands right in front of your groin and use the pressing into your hands to push yourself up, not your low back muscles. Good. And once you're all the way up, bring the knees together. Good. Just press the knees together and then take the feet apart for just a moment. That little bit of internal rotation again. Just take the feet apart, knees together. Good. And then extend out the right foot, bring the left leg in, heel into the groin. And you might want to put a block underneath your left. If it's not on the floor, please put a block there. Toes are toward the ceiling of the right foot. Good. And this again is concaving the chest and bringing a relationship from Janu, which is your knee, to Shira, which is your head. So that circuit of energy, that relationship. Breathe. You don't need to use your arms and hands anywhere. Just put them close into your body so later you can use them as a fulcrum to push yourself up rather than using the back muscles that you've just extended. Chin is tucked into the chest, belly is pulled back as far as you possibly can. Crown of the head toward the knee. And then gently press into your hands, begin to peel the chin off, look out past your toes and push up with your arms, not using anything more than your arms. Good. And then extend out the left foot, draw the right heel into the groin. Again, keep your hands nice and close in. Flex the foot. Good. And then begin to roll your shoulders forward, concaving the spine at the thoracic area. Keep your hands close in. Keep the left foot flexed, creating a relationship between the crown of the head and the knee. Janu Shirshasana. All of this action is in the thoracic spine where you have ribs. Tuck the chin into the chest. And then on your next inhale, press into the floor a little, look out past your big toe on the left foot. Good. And then press into the hands and push yourself up. Good. And then one more moment into Dandasana staff pose. Good. So we're going to lie down for a moment and we're going to do a couple of poses, but one of the one of the things we're going to take our block in case we want to do an inversion with a block in just a moment or two. I'm going to try to make this clear enough so that you don't have to look at me and you can just be on the floor and do what you're doing. If you need to look at me, don't crane your neck. Just pop yourself all the way up for a minute and look and see what's happening on the screen, okay? Because I wanted you to protect your carotid artery. Okay, so initially I'm just sitting here creating a V with my knees and my spine, holding on to the front of my shins, just creating that V of energy. Good. And then I'm going to put my hands behind my knees and create that V a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger. And then I'm going to walk my hands down my legs until I'm actually softly, gently, like a little worm crawling onto the floor. And I've made my way there. And just let everything splay open for a moment. Your legs fall to the side, your arms fall to the side, everything falls to the side for just a moment. Good. And then put your feet on the floor firmly. Feet are on the floor, knees are bent, feet are on the floor. Lift your hips and just shake them out a little bit and then place them back down and make sure you have some of your low back curve. You're not pressing your low back into the floor. Good. And you're just here for a moment. And then lift your hips off the floor, shift them over to the right side, 1, 2, 3, 4 inches, and then lower the hips. Draw your knees in towards your chest, not too far. And then slowly drop your knees over to the left side. Draw the shins away as if you were seated in a chair. Take your right hand and place it on your sacrum and make sure that your sacrum is safe and headed completely in the left side, to the left side. And then draw your feet in closer to your bottom. Put the feet on the floor and straighten yourself out. Completely straighten yourself out. Keep your knees bent, feet on the floor, but straighten out your body in relationship with the spine. Good. And then lift the hips off again and shift them over to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inches. Set them down. Draw the knees in a little. And then take the knees over to the right side. Draw the shins away as if you were seated in a chair. And then put your left hand on your sacrum and make sure everything there is integrated, that the twist is happening in your thoracic spine. And then come back into neutral. And if you're inverting, I just want you to take this very light inversion of lifting your hips. You can go all the way into bridge, or you can go into Viparit Karani Mudra there. So you can come all the way up if you'd like. But otherwise, if you're not inverting, which is also perfectly fine, I just want you to be on the floor and lift your legs. And the legs can be kind of like a dead grasshopper, not all these super flex, just let them relax. So your bottom on the floor with the legs up toward the ceiling, relaxed, or an inversion, Viparit. And then wherever you are, begin to melt your way into Shavasana, corpse pose. Just finding your way completely down onto your mat. Nice and soft. Everything soft. The breath is uncontrolled. in the belly or the chest, wherever it goes. Muscles are soft, melting to the bone. Organs are soft. And the brain, like any organ, is soft. Slowly and gently bringing your awareness into the breath. Finding it again, belly or chest. Begin to swim the fingers, twinkle the toes. Make faces. Open your mouth wide as if you were yawning. Consider a nice big overhead stretch. Fingertips to the toes, lengthening. Find your low back curve right there at that big stretch. And then gently curl in to embryo pose, rocking yourself over to one side, all curled up, safe and secure. And then gently begin to press the floor away, spiraling up to a comfortable seat. Any seat, just letting the whole of the practice, pranayama, meditation, asana, work their magic. Bringing the hands into the heart, Anjali Mudra. Any merit we may have earned this morning in our diligent practice of yoga, we lift it up to the welfare of all sentient beings. Remember your intention for self-transformation. Just ponder it for a moment. And then let that thought and any other offering you might have slip out of your mind down into your heart space. Symbolically from your heart space into the palms of your hands. And then let's lift it up and just let it go off into the universe, bringing the hands slowly back into the heart. Hari Om Tat Sat. Namaste. Look who came and did yoga with me. Say hi, Mitzi. Sometimes she's on my belly for Shavasana, but today she just decided to lay on the mat. I'm coming to you. Great. Let me fix it so you can talk. Let me fix it so I can see you. Great. All right. So hold on. I didn't mean to, but I kind of threw my clock, which is my cell phone, across the floor. How was that for folks? How was your Ardha Chandrasana? Did you feel that you built up to it? Thank you, thank you. Tomorrow's the big day. Woo! Yeah, yeah. Not sure how I'm feeling about my second birthday by myself. It's not really by myself. I have wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people here that will want to celebrate, and I don't want to celebrate. I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what I want to do. Anyway, I have until tomorrow, but I can guarantee you there will be big time fireworks at 5 a.m. Whether I like it or not, it doesn't matter how many times I've asked them not to do it. There's still fireworks at 5 a.m. It's just part of the culture. Now it's just one big thing of firecrackers. It used to be like 10 big things of firecrackers, but I've got them down to one. But it still goes on for, you know, those of you who have listened to fireworks in Central America. It can be very big. So how was your Ardha Chandrasana? How did you guys do with that? Did you feel like you built to it and by the time you got there? And was it helpful for you to do it with your eyes closed? Well, just standing there and imagining yourself flying up into it. Was that helpful for when you were going to do it? Don't everyone speak at once. Manipa?
It was good, but I still have balance issue. Like I keep falling down, but I could do it on the wall. I was doing it on the wall.
I think the wall is the very best place to do it. You know, like that's, I think with any kind of balance issues, like using the wall, I think it is so supportive because then your brain starts to have more confidence in what your body can do. So I would just continue to use the wall every time. I wouldn't even try it in the floor until, you know, maybe 2 or 3 months from now. Like just add it to your practice, always at the wall, always at the wall.
Thank you. Happy birthday.
Thank you, Manipa. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Izzy. Thank you. Yeah. So anybody else, any thoughts about Ardha Chandrasana? Just because you could, I wanted to make sure that you felt that you had warmed up those areas. Yeah, did everyone feel you had enough external rotation and extension in the chest? And good, good.
Yes.
Good.
And I felt it all come together with the wall. Before that, it was a struggle. But when I was on the wall, it felt for the first time just right.
Isn't it amazing? Isn't it amazing? Yeah, I've had several students say that once they were on the wall and they knew what it was supposed to be like. And I say, don't leave the wall yet, because you may know for one split second, but your whole body doesn't know yet. You need to convince your whole autonomic nervous system. So don't leave the wall, stay on the wall. It's like, don't leave the blocks until your legs are on the floor, you know. So the counter poses were the internal rotation, you know, at the end where I had you sit on the block and internally rotate with your legs apart. And then we did like my version of Vrishasana bull pose, but like kneeling, where you had one leg internally rotated, one leg externally rotated. Yeah, yeah. That was my counter pose to all the external rotation we were doing. Thanks for the question, Mary. Thank you. Yeah. Yes, and how about Ujjayi growth method? I love that practice. Any thoughts about it? It's really good for releasing emotion. It's really good for releasing emotion, which is why I think whenever we do it in a room full of people, everybody dies laughing, because laughter and crying are not very far apart. For those of you who've had that happen, you know, you just start laughing because it's like, oh my God. And then quite easily that can turn into tears, right? So it's got this explosion of emotional release. It's similar to Brahmari, which is bee humming sound, but a little bit easier, I think, quite a bit easier for people. And, you know, like it's the same effect there at the glottis, really vibrating that area. So it's really, yeah, it always seems to aggravate her throat. That's Antonia. And it does aggravate it for a little bit in that it vibrates it, and you have to do it really gently. I'll have to do it with you at some point in time for you to see how little you really have to do it for it to make a noise and to sound and to vibrate, because you may just be overdoing it, right? But the good thing is it's for your thyroid and your parathyroid, which are there. And all of us women, we really need a lot of help from our thyroid, especially after we hit menopause, because the thyroid and the adrenals have to pick up all the slack. And when we don't have healthy adrenals, that's why you see me always doing that adrenal squeeze, you know, as walking on your tiptoes. Like every time you go into your kitchen, you should walk on your tiptoes to the sink or walk on your tiptoes to the stove or wherever you're going. Just take a walk on your tiptoes and massage your adrenals. So if you go into the kitchen 5 times a day, you get 5 massages. You just have to have a place in your head where you can get that adrenal massage, you know. And then the same thing for your thyroid. You need this, so much yoga really plays with the thyroid. Like these instructions to move your head from side to side, the instructions to take your head, keep your neck long and head back, the extension in the area, the compression in the area when you really tuck in. So all of this thyroid movement, you know, really, really helps the thyroid. And then the that vibration that's happening there. And it's the same vibration as Ujjayi. But it's more subtle, right? It's the same place as vibrating, but I would prefer that people could do the gross method for a long time until they got that whole area really down of how it is to move it. And for me, with a postnasal drip, like after I do that, then I'll have to clear my throat, which is also really good. Then you need to go as soon as that's over and gargle with warm salt water with turmeric to get rid of any kind of stuff that you had coming down from your sinuses into your throat. Yeah, so it's good. It's good. But Antonia, you need to do it softly and gently, you know, just like, yeah. Okay, well, yeah, and someday I'm going to be close to you and I'm going to do it with you. Someday we will be close again. I promise. Yeah. You're so welcome. Everybody, you're so welcome. I really appreciate hanging out with you. Augustine, welcome. Glad to have you in class. And everybody else, have a wonderful weekend. And good Lord willing, I'll see you next Tuesday. And everybody behave yourselves. And I'm going to try to behave myself tomorrow, but we'll see. I'll tell you. Okay. Much love.
Happy birthday, Ginger.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Ciao.
Happy birthday.
Thanks, Sky. Love your hair.
Happy
Ciao.
birthday. Bye.